flew up here from Tifton, Georgia, day before yesterday, and left behind nice weather.
80-degree weather.
I warned you to get warm
You didn't
clothing.
bring your winter. Well, you did bring your winter coat for now.
tried.
It's great weather.
They were here yesterday testing this out, and it was snowing,
started
and so he was able to video for his kids snow in Wisconsin.
Yeah.
So
They thought it was the coolest thing.
Yeah.
That was my first snow of the year.
First, had the first products, AERA-vator line for 17 years, and it's evolved over the years, gotten better and better and better, and we've had to evolve as first products to different applications. And so today we're going to talk about this multi-tine shaft on this AERA-vator. UA is Universal AERA-vator, which means you can put different shafts in the same framework and use it for multiple applications. And so, even though we're grass people, we like to grow natural grass and mow it and spray it and fertilize it. This is a reality in today's world for athletic fields. And so, what happens with the crumb rubber over time? This is a 7-year-old field, Andy.
6.
About that, they top dressed it recently, but over time, that crumb rubber settles and it loses its softness under the field, which means it's harder on the athletes' knees and heads, and we're trying to reduce injuries. So if we can revitalize that crumb rubber and get it softer and more cushiony, that's the goal here. And maybe extend the life of your field by a year or 2 or 3. Once the warranty runs out, then on your own is what we found out. How many guys have artificial fields that are here today? Show of hands. Okay. Maybe various years and whatnot. I think you got a quote for like $500,000 to recarpet this thing, and that's a big expense in the municipal budget for this day and age. Maybe when real estate taxes are down and money's not quite readily available. So this could be a nice option for you. So we're going to demonstrate today how we're going to aeravate this crumb rubber. And I did some homework last night, Landon. This 60-inch AERA-vator, that's 180 inches between the 5-yard marks here. So 3 passes on that is going to cover the 180 inches, 60 times 3, right? So we're going to go down, and you're going to see some striping effect of that from this rear roller here. Trying to get some aesthetics to make it look natural from the stands, obviously, too. But the whole idea is to soften up that material and make it loose and pliable again and softer for the athletes. So I'm going to turn it over to Landon, and he can give us some more information about this product and we'll get the thing running.
Thank you, Phil. So what we want to highlight today really is this shaft in this frame. And for the guys that do not have synthetic fields, there are 6 available shafts you can put in this machine. It's a universal AERA-vator, universal machine. So it's not just a synthetic turf grooming compaction relief machine. It's very, very popular in the turf areas, your ball fields, your common areas, sports fields. So it's just but we're just going to highlight this one today, and I guess later on in the spring we can talk about other shafts for other applications.
Right.
And somebody mentioned they had one. Who?
Yes, we do.
You guys have one?
Jefferson's got one.
Yep.
And you don't use it on any synthetic, do you?
No, we don't have any synthetic. We
You
just
have
got
no
everything's turf and then on the baseball field.
So you got the standard AERA-vator shaft
Yep.
with the seat box, and
Yep.
so use it on natural turf. So it is a multi-use product that you can use for many applications. All your aerification, your cord shaft, plug-in, solid tine, compaction relief, artificial fields. So if it has anything to do with compaction relief, aerifying, or seeding, this is a one-stop machine. So, but again, today we'll just highlight what it does. And the synthetic application, this is really evolved into this used to be for natural turf overseeding, but it's kind of evolved over the years into more of an artificial turf shaft. And that's really the only reason why we sell it these days is just for artificial turf. It's because over years of playing on these artificial fields, you still develop compaction, and it's still got to be dealt with, because it is a safety hazard to have compacted artificial fields. Just for the sheer falling on it, it can cause damage. I mean, it can really hurt somebody if you don't keep them loosened up. So what we found out over the years is when fields are installed, they write a warranty. They leave you with a piece of a grooming piece of equipment, and they say this is what you can do. If you do anything outside of this, of course, installers are different. They write different warranties. It may not be the case for this field, but they say if you do anything other than what we tell you to do within the warranty time, it will not be covered under warranty. So it really pushes people away from doing any kind of maintenance on synthetic fields that they really need to be doing. And we don't blame you for doing what they say, because it was an expensive install, and you don't want to avoid that warranty, so you're going to do what they want you to do. And you're basically not grooming the field and not taking care of it the way it should be taken care of, because they want to come back and install one in 7 to 10 years later. That's what they want to do. You're on a target to wear it out soon, and that's what they want you to do. So where we come into play is after the warranty's up, and I believe it's around that 7 to 8 year period. The warranty's up. That's when you can start prolonging the life of this field even further and getting more, making that money last longer. So if you got a $500,000 install it's $1 million install up front, and then I guess it's $500,000 after all the drainage and all that, just to rip up this and put down new carpet, new rubber. But every year you put off that new field just by investing in the right pieces of equipment saves that money every year. So that's kind of where we come in, and you wore it out, the warranty's done, let's really get in there and make it look good. So that's kind of where we start doing the compaction relief and all that.
So the variable from field to field is obviously the compaction layer. We out here yesterday on our dry run, we want to be cautious. We don't want these tines here to get down into the base of the carpeting out. We're not trying to destroy the field. We're trying to just aerify, if you will, or fluff up the crumb rubber above that carpet mat. And so there's a depth adjustment that we want to make sure we're only going as deep as we can, but not get into that mat layer, if you will. That would not be advantageous.
And most pile heights in fields are much deeper than this tine. So more than likely you won't have any, especially this field. This field is in phenomenal great shape, as old as it is. We've been on some that were just a few years old that just looked like they looked terrible.
10 years old.
Yeah, they looked 10 years old. They were wore out. They didn't do anything because they weren't allowed to. So this field looks really, really good. And I think about a year ago, you guys put down more crumb rubber.
Yeah, last year we put down 25,000 pounds of
So that's
crumb
one thing
rubber.
you have to do.
Was that after the season ended?
Yeah, it was last spring when COVID hit. We did it in the spring.
Okay.
So
the season
we
ended,
did play
played on all
football on
football
it last
seasons.
fall.
Okay.
That's important to do, because on average, when you have kids on the field, every kid leaves this field with a shot glass of crumb rubber in his socks and shoes and bag. And
How do you know that, Landon? Who told you that?
Dr. Shockery out of University of Tennessee.
Somebody studied this actually, right? To figure
Yep.
out what it's going to take.
Custodian told you because he sweeps it up every night in the locker room.
Bring it back up, put it back down again.
Every house in this county has crumb rubber in the dustpan every night, probably, when the kids come home after school.
Yeah.
So yeah, a shot glass a kid,
That's what it is.
and that adds up quick. That's why you got to come back and add
Over time.
25,000 pounds or back to the field. So keeping the pile height consistent across the field, and I'm sure there's people that measure that, and you know that, you have to do that. But when you add the new material, it's still got to be, you got to keep it at the surface or it'll compact. The fibers will mat down, layer over it, just mat down, and you got to just keep it fluff. You want the fibers standing up, not laying down.
You sent Andy some data, scientific data, if you will, study data, and you can forward that to your group if you choose to.
So what we did was we had an independent company do a test on what this machine did. First we had to find out if we were causing any more damage, because this looks scary. I'm not going to lie. It looks terrible. It looks terrible to put on a synthetic field. I would be scared to do it. But we went to a field that was closed. It was a public field. It was closed. It was taped off with caution tape. It was too hard to get on. By the recommendations of the Synthetic Turf Council, you got to close it when the G-Max, when you drop the ball on it and it measures the force, If it's within a certain range, it's too hard to play on. It's dangerous for the kids to get tackled on and fall on and get concussions. So what we did is we went to the field. We made 2 passes, one direction and the other direction, and we took the field from being closed to being open. So the fiber test came back, no damage. The backing of the mat, no damage. It was able to open back up, and they could put that field back into play. So it increases the pile height, and it reduces compaction up to 30% in one pass. So it does a really good job. As long as you got the tines set at the right height, which, like I said earlier, you can probably just bury them as deep as they'll go, and you still won't be nowhere near the backing of the carpet.
Do you have a sprinkler system?
No, we
Jefferson.
No. Oh, yes, we do. Yes, we do.
What does that do to your sprinkler heads?
We're fine for everything on there. We just mark the heads. We mark the heads,
That's
so
what
we
I
go
do
around the
usually
heads.
with the regular
Yep.
aerator. I
Yeah.
just wanted to know if you had to do it. with
Yeah.
this.
Nope. The lines they're down far enough. Just the heads we mark and we go around them.
Okay, you just go around.
Yep.
I didn't know if you could go right over it. It doesn't look like it.
and
No, you don't wanna go over.
what tines do you have on your machine?
We have the I don't know what
The
we got.
AERA-vator.
We got the air.
Solid time.
Yeah. Yep.
AERA-vator.
Standard times.
So is it a longer tine than that?
Yeah.
It's a 3.5-inch solid tine, and it shakes like this will.
It will.
This is a 2-degree offset, so when you see it, the guys that are familiar with AERA-vators, you have an AERA-vator, that is 5 degrees, side-to-side travel. This is a 2 degree, so it's less disruptive, so it's not moving as aggressive as an AERA-vator. So there's a little bit different pitch to it.
I just know for us, for the baseball fields, I mean, it was, that's what sold me for that on you guys, and sorry about that, but that's what sold me was that, because it helped the field so much. It was great. So.
Yeah, you can take it, the AERA-vator, the machine that he has is the same setup here, again, just a different shaft. You just drop a shaft out, you put a shaft in, drop it out, put it in. You can pull plugs, so there's a corn shaft, solid tine, artificial shaft, a cedar shaft, which you can seed with pretty much any of them. So there's just multiple uses you can do with it.
So on your baseball field, are you using it to like fix your lips on your transition from grass to dirt or anything, or
No, we're just using it just to get everything kind of help level out, like loosen it up.
Okay.
It just
So if you get a hard rain and stuff, it breaks it through really easy. And okay.
But Mike Thornton has had experience with the AERA-vator that you guys own, where you know that at the edge of that transition from the skin to the outfield, he gets a bump in it, which causes the ball to react differently. And,
Yeah.
and so, but he can run over that with the AERA-vator over time and just smooth that right back out.
Breaks it down, and after time, it goes
Yeah.
level.
right. So we just got that last year there, and this year we got one of the fields once with it already, and we got it going over there, and it's looking better already.
And the rear roller helps as well to
Yeah.
finish it up.
So you
Yep.
do the infield then too?
Yes.
Yeah,
So
you-
I have a nail rake,
Yep.
but
can
I could
adjust
see
it.
where that would really be nice for the infield.
It
You can
is.
adjust the depth
Loosen
of
it
the
up.
roller, so you can
Yeah.
gauge the depth of the tines off the roller off this mechanism here.
Yeah, you probably don't want to aerate a baseball diamond infield.
No,
3.5 inches.
no,
Now you
but-
got so much loose material you
You
can't
take it out of this
can't play on.
position here and put it in a fixed position.
How far do you go down with yours
I
then when you
don't
do a
know
baseball?
what it is. It's only you're only going down like an inch or so,
Sure.
half
But
inch
you
in there,
get
not
that
much. We got to
you know,
just got to
guys
set
up
really
in
light on
like
there
a
when we do it.
softball field with
Yep.
all dirt,
Yeah,
you
you
get that hard crust on there.
Yeah.
I could see something like that
Yeah,
would just
you can break
soften
it
it up
up.
real nice,
Yeah.
and then you drag it.
You can
Afterwards.
you can literally take concrete hard. You can bounce a golf ball off of it, and run the AERA-vator over it, and you'll get stuck in it walking through it. It'll loosen it up that much.
Yeah.
You can just scoop it up with a bucket.
Yeah, and you always want to consider taking it off the athletic fields onto the campus grounds also, wherever the wear paths are, where the kids don't stay on the sidewalk. You're going to have sparse turf, and it's going to be compacted. That AERA-vator, this was with the AERA-vator shaft, will loosen that up and drop seed in there, and you can actually maintain grasses. So,
Yeah, the most popular use for a unit like this is exactly what you use yours for, the standard AERA-vator shaft on natural turf. Compacted areas, ball fields, sports fields, between the hashes, sidelines, goal mounds. I mean, just everywhere you need to break up compaction and a seed at the same time, you can do it. But this particular setup here, the artificial shaft, artificial fields. And you can run this on natural turf. The problem with that is, though, there's times where there's so many tines and they're so dense, they're so close that if you don't have a good root, y'all may call it root system. A good root system. It'll roll it up like a piece of carpet. The AERA-vator shaft, like you got, no problem. It's made to it'll just fall right off that tire.
Landon, can you say what size machine you would need to have running this, so tractor-wise?
So the UA60 is the most popular model we sell. We do have one a little bit bigger, an 80, and we got one smaller, a 40. So this is the middle of the road. You need about with a machine. This is about as heavy as it's ever going to get with this shaft in it. And this is a 47. I believe these are 47 horsepower tractors.
35 PTO.
About 37, 38 PTO.
So the minimal tractor you need for this unit would probably be low to mid 30s. This one is perfect. The mid-size tractor.
Okay.
The mid frame, I guess they would call it. So L series in a Kubota works really well.
We like the hyperstatic drive. It's got a cruise control on it. You set the speed at the speed you want to go. Be consistent in what you're doing across this field or across the baseball diamond. So it's all always the same. Dialing in is any other questions? For now, let's watch this thing run.
Ready?
You gonna operate it, Landon?
I will. Unless Mike, you want to operate it?
So what I want you to do, Mike, I want you to go down with this edge on this white mark, and then go down to the next 5 yards, and come back the other one, and then go down this way. So you're controlling this all in one direction. Go the next one.
Look in between behind
3 passes on each.
You have to pick it up each time, or can you make the turn with it down?
That's a good point. So on artificial, we want you to pick it up and turn around and put it back down. But the good thing about when you're on natural turf, you don't have to do that. There's a patented system that when you let it down, it unlocks, and you're now that it's down, it'll trailer behind you. You do not have to pick it up.
So even though it's 3-point, it's told. We just don't want to turn it on the carpet. That's the only difference.
But any other time, baseball field especially, you can start around the pitcher's mound and just do circles. You do not have to pick the machine up. But in artificial, we like to pick it up just because this is not put, it flows. All right.
Lock the clutch. Like a tractor. Gauge PTO.
We'll go over it at times. We don't vacuum it, we just sweep it.